Ahoy, you salty sailors. Time to raise anchor and set sail for your best scrawny life. Arr! We begin with a mushroom that we saw in our last video in its mature form. Now we find it in its immature form. Is it A, Borangia bicolor, B, Tylopolis rubrobruneus, or C, Xerocamelus ferrugineus? In 3, 2, 1, it is of course B, Tylopolis rubrobruneus. Our next mushroom seems to break down thatch and grass litter, so while it can appear in meadows and pastures, it's especially fond of urban lawns that are mowed frequently. We can see here that it is a large mushroom in maturity, that it has a ring around the stipe and annulus, and that it has a faint olive green tint to the otherwise pale gills. Could it be A, Agaricus campestris, the meadow mushroom? Could it be B, Macrolepiota procera, the parasol mushroom? Or could it be C, Chlorophyllum molybdites, the green spored parasol mushroom? And the answer is, of course, C, Chlorophyllum molybdites. This is a poisonous mushroom, one of the most common causes of mushroom poisoning, not only because it appears in urban lawns, but also because it resembles an edible mushroom, Macrolepiota procera. Having said that, the mycelium, the underground organism of which the mushroom is merely a reproductive process, is helping you have a greener lawn. So there's no point in treating your lawn with chemicals or fungicides. Rather, just if you have a dog or a small child that might ingest the mushroom, simply pick them and dispose of them in an out-of-reach place and have yourself a nice lawn. And incidentally, we note that these mushrooms belong to the family Agaricaceae, the field mushrooms. They are a family of saprobes. But now, deep in the woods, where it would be more difficult to tell if the mycelium is living saprotrophically or if it is living ectomycorrhizally by associating with certain tree species, we find some mushrooms very similar in appearance to the last mushrooms we observed. We note that the caps here are covered with flecks of material, not exactly like the scales that we saw on the previous mushroom, but very similar. We notice that the stem has a ring around it. And we also notice that the stem terminates in a large bulb. So if those last mushrooms belong to the family Agaricaceae, do these similar-looking mushrooms also belong to the family A. Agaricaceae, B. Russulacea, or C. Amanitaceae? The answer being, of course, C. Amanitaceae, and furthermore these belong to the genus Amanita. So we've nailed down the genus, but which of the following species are these most likely to be? A. Amanita phalloides, the death cap, B. Amanita citrina, the false death cap, or C. Amanita bisporigera, the destroying angel? In 3, 2, 1, of those three, I think it's most likely to be Amanita citrina, the false death cap. Now, just because it's the false death cap and not the death cap doesn't mean that it's safe to eat. It still contains alpha-amanitin, one of the toxins in the death cap. It's also said to contain bufotenin, but please do not attempt to use or consume this mushroom in any way. the lasting effect is going to be liver damage or perhaps death by liver failure. So how about this one? We can see that it has emerged from a universal veil on the forest floor. It hasn't fully opened up yet. The partial veil is sort of in the process of tearing open. Uh, and we see there is a fungus gnat that's landed on it. So could it be A, Amanita bisporigera, the destroying angel? Could it be B, Leucocoprinus leucothetes, the white dapperling? Or could it be C, Amanita virosa? In 3, 2, 1, it is of course A, Amanita bisporigera, the destroying angel. This is a deadly poisonous mushroom, and perhaps you'll notice that our friend the fungus gnat seems to be enjoying a nice little snack of Amanita bisporigera, and perhaps it will lay some eggs and the larvae may eat their way down into the mushroom and just throw themselves a right dandy party down there. But that does not mean that you can eat it. This mushroom kills human beings. Now here is an Amanita mushroom which I do not know the identity of. It appears to associate with pine trees, although some of these Amanitas are capable of associating with both deciduous and coniferous trees. But what about these mushrooms? They certainly don't appear to be typical Amanitas. There's no noticeable ring around the stem or flecks of material on the cap, and they appear to be emerging in a grassy area, so perhaps they're agarics or coprinoids instead. But in fact, these are tawny grisettes, Amanita fulva. And let's wind down our tour of genus Amanita with a look at a member of the Amanita rubescens or Amanita amaryrubescens complex. Note the red, orangish red staining that occurs where it is bruised or cut. These are possibly edible mushrooms, but I do not consume any Amanitas. There's just no mushroom that's worth risking your life over. And to lift the mood a bit, let's have a look at two relatively choice edible lactifluous mushrooms. But which ones are which? In 3, 2, 1, on the left we have Lactifluous volemus with its copious latex, and on the right we have the somewhat more colorful and with more widely spaced gills, Lactifluous hygrophoroides. Of course, there are many Lactarius and Lactifluous mushrooms about at this time of year, most of which are quite ordinary in appearance, a few of which are odd, such as these Lactarius atroviridis, and of course our old friend Lactarius indigo. And yet, what's that you say? A bright blue mushroom just isn't weird enough for you? Don't I have some weird clavulinas or something? Well, funny you should ask. You see, I was holding back. I didn't think you could handle what was really out there. So now that you've set yourself up, deal with this, Clavulina cinerea. So now that you've seen that monstrosity, what about this? What genus does it belong to? Could it be A. Clavulina, B. Ramaria, C. Sebacina, or D. Tremella? In 3, 2, 1, it is, of course, Sebacina sparasoides. Well then, is this the same thing, emerging from a fallen branch rather than the ground? In 3, 2, 1, this is, of course, Tremella fusiformis. Uh-oh, what's happening? No, not the wiggle test. Oh dear. I'm sorry, children. And now we find ourselves deep within the forest, far beyond the blue Lactarius and the red-capped Russula. Beneath the limbs of a great red oak, we find a lurid purple mushroom. Note as well how shiny and sticky the cap of the mushroom is, and that all sorts of debris is stuck to it. And as well, beneath the cap, we see some webby material that has accumulated a rusty brown spore dust, and again peeling leaves and debris from the sticky caps. And notice on these nearby specimens that as well as being purple, the cap also has these pale yellowish dots. Do we see another one? Nearby, yes, another mature cap has accumulated some leaves, but it also has the purple with the yellow dots. Here's another nearby red oak, and again, this webby partial veil that seems to shield the gills of the mushroom when it is first emerging. So what then do we have here? Could it be A, Colibia nuda, the wood bluet, B, Cortinarius iodes, the viscid violet court, C, Cortinarius violaceus, the violet webcap, or D, Lacaria ochropurpurea? The answer in 3, 2, 1 is Cortinarius iodes, the viscid violet court. Viscid, of course, meaning sticky. And this isn't a purple spider's web below the cap of this young mushroom. It is, of course, a cortina, the signature identification characteristic of Cortinarius mushrooms. So with that in mind, what could this be that has just emerged from the ground? Is it A, Colibia nuda, the wood bluet? Is it B, Cortinarius iodes, the viscid violet court? Is it C, Cortinarius violaceus, the violet webcap? Or is it D, Lacaria ochropurpurea? In 3, 2, 1, it is Lacaria ochropurpurea. Here's a look at a mature specimen, which probably would have given the answer away. And still, this deep in the forest, it should come as no surprise to find still more purple mushrooms. This one, having just emerged, we can't quite tell what it is. Slicing it in half would have revealed more details, but going simply on this photograph, would you say it is A, Colibia nuda, the wood bluet, B, Cortinarius iodes, the viscid violet court, C, Cortinarius violaceus, the violet webcap, or D, Lacaria ochropurpurea? The answer in 3, 2, 1, I suspect this is Cortinarius violaceus, the violet webcap. Slicing it open would have revealed if there was a cortina between the stem and the cap, but I didn't want to destroy the mushroom. And since you followed me this deep into the woods, I suppose you've earned a freebie. This is Areoboletus russellii, Russell's bolete. And you'll notice, of course, the completely crazy stem texture. It truly resembles an illustration from a Dr. Seuss children's book. Just one of those strange and wonderful mushrooms that you find in those mossy patches deep in the woods. And well, this pretty much wraps it up for this episode. We've got enough material for a third mushroom quiz. Some of it will be review, but review is good, repetition being the key to learning. especially when it comes to amateur mycology.